Just a little red dot swimming in a sea of stars. Got the whole damn verse spinning around you with open arms. It's a race against time that plunges you deep into the black. What are you gonna do when the void stares back? You'll never stop the revolution. Time to begin your evolution. Take a leap of faith. You gotta break the illusion. You gotta make your own solution. Take a leap of faith. The future's just a void, jump away.
Greetings humanity, and welcome once again to Channel Otherdoc. I'm Jim, I use he/him pronouns, and this is our Dark Matter campaign, Ghosts of Saltmaw. I am playing Cole Hayden, Human Gunslinger, and let us go around and say hi to everybody. Let us start with Anino. Hello.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Anino, and I play Rekmara, the Avira Druid.
Awesome. And down over to Cazimi.
Hi, I'm Cazimi, she, her pronouns, and tonight I am playing Clangswell Nunu Fritz Holds Bottom Thunderstruck, the Space Gnome.
And May, hello.
Hi everybody, my name is May. I am playing Lasness Chain Tower, Star Dwarf Paladin. She, her pronouns for us both.
And over to Mem, hello.
Hello, I'm Mem. Tonight I'm playing Narita Galeen. She, her pronouns for both of us.
Awesome. And now I shall turn things over to our illustrious station master, Alyssa. Hello.
Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in. My name is Alyssa and I play everybody else. So, like with most games on this channel, we'll be using safety tools such as the X card, the N card, and the O card. So if ever at any point we are getting into subject matter that crosses the line for any of the players, they can type an X into our Zoom chat, make an X symbol. We will stop, rewind, it never happened. If we're kind of towing the line, and it's okay to have that material, that subject in the game, but we don't want a graphic description, that's where the N comes into play. We'll fade to black, change the subject, and move on. And if at any point in time I think it looks like somebody's getting a little tense, we're kind of heading into dark matter, but I just want to check in. Yes, roll credits.
Are we not always heading into dark matter? Sorry.
I will give them an O with a question mark, and if they're just pouring on the drama and giving an Oscar-worthy performance, and it's all good to keep going, that's when they can respond with an O, and if not, then just whatever answer is applicable, and we will go from there. So, last time on Ghosts of Saltmaw, the party took it upon themselves to rescue a group of lizard folk who had been stranded on Psyworm-infested Chiron when the Likshay garrison had abandoned their attempt to colonize the planet. Gnome crest person Fritz remained in orbit, I can talk, with the ship while the others began the evacuation, starting with the hatcheries. Crates of eggs were packed for safe transport, and the last of the hatchlings were being escorted out when 5 lizard folk guards emerged from the nearby treasury and attacked, having apparently fallen to the Cyworms. Star Dwarf Paladin Lasness raced to the front line. Well, human gunslinger Cole advised the party they should shoot to kill. One of the Wormwalkers attempted to rush past Lasness, but the paladin uttered her sacred oath, killing the Wormwalker with a single blow. She and Nautilid Witch Narita were both grappled by walkers. The once freed Narita used expeditious retreat to flee the scene, but not before landing a parting shot with her newly acquired blaster, while Cole overloaded his own to deal massive amounts of damage and eliminate the last of the Wormwalkers with plasma fire. The party then made a sweep of the guard room, where they encountered an overgrowth of Xenobloom, a sentient fungus known to have both concealed swarms of Psyworms and fed on the corpses of the worm's victims. Lasness suffered some damage from the fungus's scything thorn lash, while Narita's Wismo familiar tried unsuccessfully to tie the plant creature's tentacles together. Avyera druid Rekmara brought forth some serious spell slinging to conjure a flaming sphere, which combined with Cole's blaster fire to purge the room of its fungal infection. Heading back to clear the temple, they encountered a shaman fleeing for his life. Realizing that the temple was overrun, rather than face the Psyworm Gestalt head-on, the party called in Sergeant Lee Watson, who placed explosive charges in a strategic location to collapse the intersecting tunnel and buy them all a bit more time. From there, the party went on to clear the prison, where they discovered the sole Sahuagin prisoner to be healthy and in full possession of his wits, which were notably drier than his cell. As they were securing the prisoner for transport, the Sahuagin let slip the fact that a whirl ship had crashed on the planet sometime earlier, and that the Sahuagin priestesses were attempting to create some kind of portal through which their people might escape, conjuring a rift in the middle of the worm-infested planet. And we pick up today as the party returns from Chiron. So, how do you wish to proceed?
Carefully.
Have we briefed everyone at the station that needs to be briefed?
I would imagine so. If not, you can do that. Presumably, Lee has been in contact with the Maw Keepers this whole time. So,
I think on the way we've been trying to get the Sahuagin prisoner to tell us anything else they can about what's going on with their people, because we're trying to also see if there's a way to save their people. And I kind of, if necessary, will kind of hint that it'll be a lot easier telling us these things than telling them to station authorities.
fair. Why don't you go ahead and roll either persuasion or intimidation, just to see kind of how the mood of this conversation is going to go.
Well, I guess I'm going to go with the stat that's higher. That would be intimidation.
Fair.
That would be a 20. Not a natural
Okay.
20. An unnatural 20.
All right. So So he seems pretty cooperative at this point. For whatever reason, whether out of self-preservation or what have you. And he can tell you that the ship crashed about a year ago. But it wasn't until recently that the priestesses began their endeavors to perform this ritual or construct this artifact that they think will allow them to escape the planet.
I'm sorry, did they say how long that they think that's going to take? Do they have any idea?
It's been slow going since they're using salvaged materials from their ship and other wreckage left on the planet from the garrison.
Just sort of ask the others, but primarily Fritz, if they think that that kind of material would be sufficient to try to open up a maw or something similar. I actually probably have the conversation with both Fritz and Narita because it's a world ships are God.
They're nautilus ships.
Nautilus, there we go. Yeah.
I'm willing to hazard a guess. Do you think a roll against either Arcana or Technology would be useful here?
I'll let you roll tech.
Okay. Ooh, 19 plus 4, 23.
Sure. You don't think that a whirl ship, it would depend on the class of their engine, like how powerful their dark matter drive was. And even so, you don't think it would be big enough to open something on the scale of the maws. But they might be trying to figure out a way to conduct a void jump or open a portal that will at least let some of them off.
So it appears then that they wouldn't be able to do a full-scale portal to move their ship and everybody in it through it, but they might be able to open up enough of a rift to get something through away from the planet, which seems to be the limiting piece of what they're looking at, unless they've found something else to power what's going on.
Yeah, and messing with the void crystals that powered dark matter drives is very dangerous.
Yeah, they could take out the planet pretty easily.
Oh, great.
Lastness is playing on her interplanetary phone. Just some game. I think it's Sparmville, maybe. And she says, well, I already said that. That's why I said we had to stop them now.
Yeah, but I mean, do the math. We got to get some kind of support if there are like 3,500 of them. They're not all going to fit on this ship, I can tell you that for sure.
But if we
honestly, the options end up being best case scenario, get all 3,500 off of the planet before they do harm. Worst case scenario, blow up 3,500 of them before they manage to blow up the planet and perhaps the entire local space area.
Oh, great! I haven't committed genocide this month yet.
Yeah, there's no middle ground there. Oh, there we go.
Well,
Okay.
there is. It's just a question of how successful you are at one end or the other of the spectrum.
Right.
You could blow up half of them. You could save half of them. I don't know.
And if they have been there for a year and battling the Psyworms this whole time, their numbers may have already been reduced.
That's fair.
Can we ask the prisoner about how they've been doing against the battle with Psyworms?
Sure. They have suffered losses. There were more of them than there were of the lizard folk to begin with, which gave them a little bit of an advantage. But the more they have to venture, like that island that they took from the lizard folk is a pretty safe area, they think. But the more they have to venture to other areas, the greater the risk is, which is why there was such heavy fighting over that particular area between the lizard folk and the Sahuagin, as the lizard folk tried to reclaim it and the Sahuagin were determined to keep it for themselves.
Okay. How did your people end up on a Nautilid ship anyway?
It's not a Nautilid ship. It's been ours for as long as anyone can remember.
It's a long time. Did I'm trying to remember if because I'm trying to remember what Oceanus told us about that other ship that they were looking for. I'm trying to remember if we knew that it had been one that had been out for like a long time, or is it just by its nature that we would know that?
Or maybe we need to see if we can find Oceanus at some point.
Yeah, maybe.
Perhaps.
I mean, it's unlikely that we'll get information directly from the other Nautilus ship, but we know what a font of information Oceanus can be, so maybe we should start putting our feelers out now,
yes.
And at some point we can run across him again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, I got his interstellar number.
Yeah,
Right.
we should try to contact
And you
him.
can also check the database on Saltmaw for information about Nautilid and or Sahuagin.
Yeah. And then if the members of that Nautilus ship are still there, I need to go and yell at them.
You did postpone your talking to with them.
Yeah. The stern talking to.
Well, I can take a turn looking at the Saltmaw database around Nautilus ship comings and goings and the Sahuagin comings and goings to see if we can figure out anything about the history of either the ship or the Sahuagin leaving from this maw anyway toward Chiron. I think that this maw is one of, but not the closest maw, but might have some information about transport.
Right. So if you're checking the database, I would say probably history. And is there anything else that the rest of the party wants to be doing?
I would like to go to the nearest maw place for anyone who wanted to worship the sepulcher.
Okay.
Or whatever. Sorry, didn't say that right. I just want to go to the Order of the Sepulcher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, there is. There's definitely. It's a kind of a small temple district. the kind of the main one is the Temple of the Chosen, but there's a few little shrines for various other denominations as well.
Okay. Yeah, she basically wanted to go to wherever there was one to kind of like notify the sepulcher of what's going on in person, and also, to send it back to her superior. But that's pretty much all I wanted to do.
Sure.
Would like it if you would move from my notes, please. Please.
All right. So as far as what you can bring up about the Sahuagin, and Narita, you might already know this, or you might not, but the amoeboids speculate that the Sahuagin and the Nautilid share a common ancestry, and that something may have happened to divide the two factions when they fled their solar system after before or during the supernova. But they share a lot of similarities, too many for it to be just a coincidence. But the Sahuagin are kind of like a hulked out Nautilid.
I think Narita suspects that there may be something, especially because they have the world ship, but hasn't had enough contact to kind of confirm or deny that.
They try. They really don't mix. They don't play well together.
Because they're knockoff Nautilids.
Fair. That is a valid perspective. If you ask your prisoner, whose name is Mako, he will sort of sneer and say that the Sahuagin are nothing like those pansy sea elves.
I guess that's to be expected. So any sense, I'm not sure whether Lee or Cole or someone else had been trying to see about rallying any additional transport or interest. I mean, is anybody else even paying attention to the fact that Chiron might blow a hole in space, or is that sort of we hear that every week kind of thing?
For the most part, the Likshay garrison is kind of focused on the border with the Orc war zone, and they seem reluctant to stretch themselves any thinner, which has been kind of the status quo for the past however many years.
Which is how they've gotten into this position in the first place.
Yes, exactly.
I totally get it.
I don't remember. Maybe I missed something. Is there a reason that the world ship can't be used to transport them off? Is their ship gone?
I think it crash landed. Crash being the operative word.
Their ship is or was severely damaged. So they either they're trying to repair it or they're basically trying to part it out to come up with some other way off of the planet. And you kind of get the impression that Mako is not sure what they're trying to do or how, but enough of the people are convinced that these priestesses know what they're doing, that they're just going along with it.
Maybe if they were real Nautilus, they'd know how to fix their ship and get off the planet.
Ooh.
I would say burn, but they're aquids, so...
Yeah, it's very difficult to maintain
Deluge!
Deluge, yeah. Splash!
I'm going to need to... I'm going to ask I'm going to ask Her Majesty. I don't have her name down here for some reason, but
Queen Othokent of the Lizard Folk?
Yes, I'm going to ask Queen Othokent if she'd be willing to send a representative with us, along with the Sawagan prisoner, actually. When
let them
we
die
go
together.
When we go and no. When we go to yell at the council to try to get them to do something, because we need them there for the evidence and of what's going on.
So I get the feeling that we're working toward some kind of presentation or showdown to the council, and I think that the individuals that you mentioned are important for that. And I also have the sneaking suspicion that Fritz has been sitting on this whole I need to fix it thing, and is starting to get the sweaty palms, and it's like there's a ship that kind of needs to be fixed, or like something needs to be made fixable. And I won't say that Fritz is necessarily getting irrational about it yet, but might be. And you guys have seen flashes of this before, but you're realizing that Fritz is starting to get to the point where going back to the planet and fixing the ship is like going to be a thing, unless you can derail this.
So you're telling me she has BCS, Battleship Construction Syndrome.
It's more like MFT, must fix this.
I'm sorry, Blue Cosmonaut. That's what I was going to say. Blue Cosmonaut Syndrome. Spaceship!
Yeah, no, it's basically like it's broken, gotta fix it. GFI, yeah. So yeah, Fritz is going to remain a little twitchy about this, but you get the distinct feeling that there's some aspect of GFI going on here. And Fritz is going to start a kind of background campaign to start locating spaceship parts.
Okay. And on that note, why don't everybody take an inspiration die and hold on to it, since I have been doing a lot of compelling of backstories and and that sort of thing. You may need it in the near future. All right. So are you going to go immediately to the council, or do you want to try to rally some other backup ahead of time?
Fritz is probably going to try to run some simulations about what could happen with a poorly planned attempted portal deployment in the general region of Chiron versus shipping lanes, that sort of thing. So Fritz will be off doing those sorts of modeling for you, and we'll get you some pretty graphics if you want it, with lots of explosions. And
that would be very helpful.
Okay.
Space PowerPoint skills.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I mean, it's also a thing, if Her Majesty would be willing to come with us herself to make the case, that would be awesome, but she doesn't have to, obviously. That's entirely up to her. You know, she's got to deal with settling her people, at least temporarily, on the station somewhere. There should be room, because of how much of the station is unused, but hopefully. But
is it habitable?
There's
like,
that
safely
has to
habitable?
be dealt with. We got to deal with actually we got to get the people into the space. Yeah. And so that's probably going to require a certain amount of moving around of things. However that works.
How much political power does Eleander Fireborn have?
Yeah. It's better if someone else talks to him, because otherwise I'm just going to yell at him. and never stop yelling.
He's
great.
Maybe that's what we need. The endless yelling.
Eleander Fireborn is he used to fight for the Lakshea garrison. He's quite charismatic and quite popular. So he's probably gonna have the most sway with the military.
Okay. I would like to call him up on Spame.
Okay.
And just kind of send him a couple of messages really quick, asking how he is, if the new part came in for his leg, and if he heard about how a planet was about to fall in on itself and make a massive, horrible portal, destroy everything, and rip the Order of the Sepulchre and the Maw into pieces.
If you could also let him know that Narita says hello.
Oh, yes, and Narita says hi.
You get a very prompt response that sort of ignores all of the small talk, and you get the impression that the annihilation of a nearby planet is news to him.
Yeah, I was there in person, also with Narita, who, as again, says hi, and she's very big on politeness. And she relays to him really quickly about the brain worms and
Yes.
how we need to nuke the planet from orbit, but there's a lot of people on there, and we'll be committing space genocide if we don't do it carefully. So we need help.
Okay, and he will apologize for his lapse in decorum, and send his regards to Narita, and he agrees that this threat should be dealt with as soon as possible, and he's somewhat avoiding the issue of responsibility for the whole Chiron mess, but he agrees that it should be taken care of.
He's not going to be able to avoid it for long. Not when we give our presentation.
No, we don't actually know anybody by the name of Cole.
So I'm going to also leave him with something like, how many world ships do you have? Or army or Sparmy Corps of Engineers?
Is going to have his people crunch some numbers and get right on that. Meanwhile, Fritz, a lot of your simulations are showing what will happen if the void crystal from the world ship's dark matter engine gets destroyed.
Yeah, I imagine they don't look good.
No, if a void crystal is damaged at all, best case scenario, it becomes inoperable. Worst case scenario, it collapses into a sphere of annihilation.
Yay. Okay, so I'm going to ignore the best case scenario for right now, like any good presentation would, and project what a current sphere of annihilation would do to current shipping lanes across that area of space. Throw that up into a nice 3D presentation visual, and then ship that off to whoever's going to go talk to the council.
Yes, and you'll have some lovely footage of what could happen if the sphere of annihilation comes into contact with a planar portal, such as you suspect the priestesses are trying to create, and bad things.
Yeah. I can do lots of like projection curves and like things. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Totally. Lots of nice animations, package it all up, get it ready to present. One click, nobody can mess this presentation up. Not even Lasness.
Just because you called it an Apple computer doesn't mean that all apples can't be computers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I also wrap some time frames around that? Like how quickly we need to move before we expect this to happen? Because I think that time generally pushes people more than final results a lot of times.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can definitely have that.
Great. Okay, so like we've got 3 days or something like that.
Yes.
Okay. All set to go. Cole, Narita,
Good.
Rekmara, Lasnus.
Mm.
We've got all the data we can stand. Let's do this.
I think beforehand, I'm also going to. I will talk it over a little bit with Lee to find out how involved. Since I know that she had to go around procedure to even help us in the first place, I will ask how involved she wants to be in this. As far as this, us going and shouting at the council goes. She doesn't have to be if she doesn't want to. Yeah, we don't have to mention her. But it's it's up to her.
Good luck trying to get her to stay out of it at this point.
Well, yeah, Cole is gonna try to at least be like, I don't want you to implode your career because you're one of the few people who actually deserves the position that you're in. And that kind of deal, basically.
Okay. I will let you roll a persuasion check to see how much influence you might have on her attitude toward the situation.
I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to get her to stay out of it, but I guess I am kind of trying to protect her at least a little bit from this, because this is... I just don't want her to get in trouble necessarily. And what is this, persuasion?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really want to know what her resistance to persuasion is in this situation.
I got a 13.
She looks at you. And she says, I understand what you're trying to do here, Cole, but look at that.
All right, well.
I'm not leaving you high and dry.
Well, yeah, I didn't think it'd make much of a difference, but I thought I'd give it a shot anyway. Well, let's hope that you still have, if you like, let's hope that if you like your work, you still have some of it after we're done with this. And I mean, hey, worst comes to worst, you can always come and work with us.
There's always work somewhere.
Absolutely.
Might have to do it without the fancy armor for a while, but, I'll work my way back up. I'll get another mech suit.
Fritz hasn't built a mech suit yet.
Oh my god. Yeah. And he's gonna kind of, there will be, perhaps noticed, and we can, depending on people's various comfort levels, we can undo this if necessary. Cole will probably, during this time of concern, as there's this very sort of emotionally charged moment, will probably place his hand on her elbow or some such thing, shoulder, elbow, arm type thing, and perhaps it will stay there a little too long. then as but then as we must do things, he will then turn and, begin doing them. So to try to get everything ready for this, bringing people up to talk to
professionalize.
Yeah.
Are we around for this moment?
Probably not that moment.
Actually, let me briefly just make sure because I know I just sort of sprang this. Does this moment in fact happen?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want Narita to be there so bad, just like looking like, but not saying anything.
I know I should have asked ahead of time if this character was romanceable or not, but
Maybe.
Apparently now.
possibly. We don't know yet for sure, but anyway.
Well, Cole, you're not being particularly stealthy about it, are you?
This is true. No.
Discreet. Narita, make a perception check.
Yeah, Cole isn't even thinking about it. That's the thing. It's just.
I want to do this right.
Part of me wants her to miss it just so she's oblivious, but that's just me.
That's a non-natural 20.
Oh, okay.
She knows more than he does.
Yeah, probably.
She's like,
I think everyone in this situation knows more than Cole does.
You definitely maybe kind of catch the tail end of it, and like there might have been a moment Lee's got her back to you, so you can't quite see her reaction, but something definitely happened there. So now what?
I guess we need to go and talk to the council.
Right.
If there's nothing else before. Does anyone else want to do anything before I possibly get us exiled from the station?
Or at least yourself airlocked. I'm not sure.
Yeah, possibly that. Yeah.
No, Fritz was 100% about this presentation and the charts and graphs and the 8x10 glossy photographs. Anyway, nobody's going to catch that reference. Yeah, ready to go.
Okay.
Narita will go as well.
Lastness will go as well. She's procured chewing gum of some sort. And yes, she snaps it.
We have this long before we start kicking ass. No.
Right. So the entire council assembles for this
Rekmarar is going too, right?
Yes.
Is Rekmarar coming?
It's a rather tense march with the Zawagan prisoner, the lizard folk queen, and the entire party with their various attitudes towards and history with various members of the Planetary Council. But they're all assembled. And you present your data.
Yeah. So there's this moment where I'm going to kind of step forward and addressing mostly Eleander Fireborn, as I say this. Say, everyone, this is Her Majesty Queen Othakent of the Lizardfolk Nation of Chiron. I don't know if anyone here recognizes her. Do you? I just sort of say, looking at Fireborn. She might recognize you as she is one of those who came to assist us in action that was taken on that planet some time ago. And I assume I assume we've already kind of shown the presentation and stuff. I say, and I point at the I point at that, and I say I gesture to the prisoner. This is Mako, who's been at war with whose people have been at war with hers for well over a generation, and over pieces of land, and now they're getting ready to do this. And all of this is our fault. We did this. We did this by going and leaving her people behind. We are responsible, and we must stop it. We are not abandoning that world again. And yeah, that's basically I think the majority of what he says.
Fritz makes sure that the visual in the background like explodes just at an appropriate moment.
The awkward hush that sort of falls over the council is sort of broken by a few like startled, like some straightening of posture, and at the reminder of impending doom. And there is some whispering back and forth, and Cole, for sure. The rest of you are somewhat new to the planet, but Cole, you know there has been some tension between various members of the council previously. And current events are likely going to perhaps put either it's going to put even more of a strain on the council, and things may start to fray. And give rise to perhaps a change in leadership, or it will bring people together, and at this point you're not sure which.
Fritz makes sure to change the slide from the remnants of the explosion to the what happens to trade routes in the area, especially if they happen to involve Manistride copper locks and any mining influence in the area? Just incidentally.
Yes. And when you do that, you see the merchant representative, Gelland Primewater. He sort of pushes to he leans over to Ed Oland and sort of gives her a perhaps not so subtle nudge that she ought to agree to aid in this endeavor and preserve their interests. And it seems that she is inclined to agree. Because after all, she can't accomplish her goals for the new docks and whatnot if there's no station left, if there is no asteroid field left to salvage or whatnot. And Manistrad also agrees because they won't be able to, it won't matter if there's no asteroid field left for them to fight over.
I make a minor bow to their recognition of such a particular event being the case. And then look around at the rest of our party, sort of ignoring the council and going, okay, so what do we need in terms of ships to remove people and parts to repair their ship or parts to repair their ship?
Yeah, we need to get them off of there. Get them to somewhere, preferably somewhere somewhere other than Saltmaw Station, because we don't want the two factions on the same place to just start up their war again, if that's
Granted
possible.
that there was another maw between Saltmaw and Chiron, though. Perhaps there's some relocation possible there. And it's not a bad idea to have two plans in place at once, because relocation, evacuation and relocation is one, but repair of the ship is another. And if we pursue both of them in parallel, if one fails, the other might be a backup. And you know me, I'm happy to look at repair.
I mean, do you think there's going to be enough of that ship left?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. If you take a look at evacuation, I'll take a look at repair.
All right. I mean, if there's enough of it, I guess there's worth a shot, but...
It's always worth a shot to repair something.
Well, if there's enough there to do it with, that's the thing. We don't want to start, doing that.
There is always enough there, given a few extra parts.
You know that there was that legend about a ship. It's not really a legend so much, it's a saying that you replace the parts of a ship to the point that it's no longer the same ship.
Does that matter?
It does if we're hauling an entire junkyard with us, that's all I'm saying.
Pieces, parts, where's the beef, whatever. We can figure this out.
It's parts.
Yeah, parts is parts. You got it.
30%.
Works for me.
Up to 30%. We can replace up to 30%, no more. All right? If it's more than that far gone.
I got it. I'm on it. I can totally do this. I can do it with 20%. Give me a better number.
I don't think that's how this goes.
10%. I can do it with 10% of the ship and some parts. And maybe a couple of pieces and maybe another person to help out.
I think
because they need to be taller than me.
I think we're flipping the percentage in the wrong direction. There needs to be 70% of the ship at least there for us to make the attempt, is what I'm saying.
No. You remove 20% of the people, 70% of the people with 20% of the armada, and I can take care of the rest of the percentage of the people with the ship. And so Fritz goes into this whole, blathering that nobody can follow about how many people need to be taken off with some other means and how much can be taken off with the ship that Fritz is going to repair. And you've started to lose Fritz down this little psycho world that they live in.
Lastness looks to Rekmara and says, you all should follow the Dwarven Imperial system. It's a way better model. Base 12.
I hate your math.
Rita's just kind of staring at Fritz meltdown and frothing at the mouth. And it's just what do we do right now? How do we help?
Right now, Eleander is going to see about diverting an explorer ship, which is a light cruiser. It won't hold 3,500, but it will hold close to that many.
Okay. Cool. So we can get them all. We'll be able to get most of them off anyway. All
Which
right?
ones will we leave behind?
Let's.
We should come up with some crisis triage.
We might.
The ones who've been eaten by worms.
Yeah, there are a bunch. There are a bunch. I mean, there aren't even that many there anymore anyway. Probably. And actually, just sort of turned to Mako. Okay, as you see, we are getting a ship to get your people off. Do you know how many there actually are at this point? Can you tell us that, so we will know if we have enough room to get your people off?
Out of character, I don't have an exact number, but
Oh,
he
yeah,
can
yeah.
probably give you one.
Yeah.
At least ballpark.
Does he give us a number that the ship can perhaps hold?
Yes.
Okay. That's the important thing. That's really
Yes.
the question's like, okay. See, we don't actually have to do. So we don't have to do the repair necessarily. Hold off on calculating till we see what's left of the other ship. Okay? Can you give us at least that? Just push pause until we see it. Okay? Can you pull back?
But I need to plan. Can I plan? I'm going to plan. I'm going to draw plans. Lots of plans.
Make a simple plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you would like assistance of a slightly taller creature, the Maw Keeper's assistant can be assigned to your cause.
Okay.
Ooh.
This is like the second most awesome thing that Fritz can think of, is having the Maw Keeper's assistant as an assistant. This is like way off the charts in terms of like help. And so, yeah, Fritz is like all about that assistance. That would be great.
Yes. So the teal and blue and pink and purple amoeboid individual, vaguely feminine shaped, but still agender because they're an amoeboid, Epsilon will come to your assistance. And anything that can be taken apart and put back together, they're all up in that business.
Awesome. And Fritz had a little bit of knowledge or previous encounter with Epsilon previously, so this is like totally like rad dudes. We're like
you
all
have
over
just
this
become
Cowabunga.
best friends.
Yeah, right. Totally BFF world.
And Epsilon's like, well, we're not using this, so I can disassemble these and we can bring these with us.
Exactly. And it's like, and we need this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing and checklist time.
Epsilon
like
knows
out the
exactly where to get it, what is or is not being used, and what can be disassembled and brought where.
Right. It's like, this is where the musical number breaks out and we like dance around the stage. Yeah, totally got it.
The encyclopedic knowledge of whatever you need. Okay. So any other business that needs to be taken care of before we go to break?
I will ask one thing. I'm sorry, I keep thinking of things suddenly. But someone should probably get on the horn to the other station, the in-between station, and see if maybe they would have room, and if not, to start looking for more. We can maybe hopefully they have someone that can do that. But
yes, the Saltmaw Keeper Iota will be in contact with the other Maws between here and there.
Awesome.
And sort out all of those details.
Yeah, cool. Excellent. And are the lizard folk going to be able to find a place on Saltmaw Station somewhere to be able to at least settle for a little while until they figure out what they want to do?
Yes.
Okay.
I just have a quick question. Is the planet or the Maw between ours and we're in Chiron, is that one, is it sort of like a water Maw? Do they have water places for the water folk to go?
There is actually on Saltmaw, there is a sort of network of aquatic tunnels that traverse the station and kind of lead to the greenhouse area near the marketplace. So there is temporary accommodation for aquatic and amphibious creatures as well. It's set up to accommodate pretty much everybody. If you don't breathe oxygen, there's also probably areas for that, but most of us also breathe air, so we haven't been into any of those particular areas, but they exist.
What about where we're taking the Sawagan, if we can get them off?
Yeah, the other Maw stations are probably have similar setups because spacers travel from all over, and they're all used to the Nautilid kind of exploring and stopping at the Maws to resupply and stuff like that. So there will be accommodations even if they have to be dispersed through multiple areas on the network.
Okay.
Glad to see you're watching out for our aquatic friends.
Yes, and if somebody texts Oceanus, I'm sure they will be excited to help make those arrangements.
Oh dear.
If not, who knows? They may have stowed away somewhere already just to get in on the action.
Oh no!
You don't know.
Oh no!
Oceanus is right now watching all of this action happening from somewhere he shouldn't be.
Probably swimming through one of those water tubes, just like
no traps.
All right. So we'll go ahead and take a quick break and then be right back.
All right, folks, we'll be back shortly. Welcome to the break. And today I have Simon, the Wandering DM, here to talk about various things that he's had going on. And right now, just a little bit about how he got into all this. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, I'm good. All things considered, with what's happening outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm surviving.
It's the best we can. That's the best we can expect of folks. Honestly, that's we do what we got to do right now.
Yeah.
But so you have been streaming for a while now.
Yes.
And yeah. And so just was curious as to how you got into it, and sort of how what is your origin story, as they say in.
This is going to sound a bit weird. It started because of Satine Phoenix. She was in a show called I Hit It With My Axe. An old D&D actual play with a bunch of adult entertainers in it. And I saw like an episode or so back when it was on Rock, Paper, Shotgun, I think. And basically I saw that and I was like, oh, that's kind of a neat concept. Like, sure, the thing could be more professional and have a better sound quality and all that, but I like the idea of playing for both like your group and an audience. And then that led me to searching for more actual plays to see how people did it. And I fell upon, well, Critical Role. By that time, Critical Role had begun, I think, 3 weeks prior. So I joined in at the very beginning, back when they were with Geek and Sundry and had nothing. And yeah, that made me want to start streaming. And then I spoke with Grant at the time at a Gen Con, and that gave me the push to begin streaming in earnest.
Awesome. So about how long have you been doing it now, roughly, as of this recording?
As of this recording, I think it's 3 or 3.5 years. I started somewhere in 2017, I think.
Okay, cool. What sort of stuff did you start off with when you began streaming?
So, a probably deleted by now game of Vampire the Masquerade. That I had begun. It was supposed to be a 2 or 3-parter with a group of people, a bunch of critters. We ended up, I didn't know what I was doing back then. The overlay was horrendous. And sound quality was crappy. Anyway, it was a first draft. And that was the very first one. After that, my first real long campaign was Star Wars Points of Light.
Cool.
A 5th edition. I took the rules from Saga edition, I converted them to 5th, and then we played Star Wars every Tuesday, I think.
Cool. So it was Saga 2, and when you say the 5th edition, are you talking about the D&D 5e, or are you talking about...
Oh yeah, D&D 5e. Yeah. I had a thing against fancy dice back then, and I did not want to touch Age of Rebellion or Edge of Empire or anything. Mind you, now I am reading Edge of Empire currently, and I am liking it very, very much, and we'll probably stream a game of that.
Cool, yeah. I gotta say, the weird dice threw me off at first too with those. It wasn't kind of until I was able to get a chance to dig into it and figure out what it actually was about that I sort of started to get through it. But that is always kind of a weird sort of for me. It is a weird barrier to entry a little bit, as if I've got to okay, do I have to redefine my entire understanding of what a die is, which also was a thing for me with when a friend of mine introduced me to DCC, because it uses all those different Zachi dice, and I was like, okay, we're gonna roll a 30-sided die now. I'm terrified. But that's cool. So what kind of campaign was it then? How did that campaign go? The Star Wars 5e.
So Star Wars 5e was about an alternate universe where Obi-Wan Kenobi died at the end of Episode 3. Him, Luke, and Leia, basically the shuttle that left Mufasar, was shut down. And that led to the Empire not being challenged for a while. There was a rebellion, but without Leia to back it, or without even Bail Organa to... Well, Bail was there, but the way I had it created was that Leia tempered a lot of his father's darker side, if you will, more stern and authoritarian. So without that, the rebellion basically ended up this group of almost anarchists / guerrilla fighters. They didn't stand for anything, and the players basically ended up not necessarily joining the rebellion, but joining the cause, being those eponymous points of light in a galaxy that was in complete shambles. And they basically created a new rebellion, that darker timeline version of a rebellion.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we had to cut the campaign short. We didn't get to finish it for various reasons, but it was a lot of fun while it lasted. Though if I were to do it again, I would probably use a more role-play friendly system. Less not that D&D is not role-play friendly, but the Saga edition rules were very much about miniature fighting.
Oh yeah.
So I'd look for something maybe more like Edge of Empire and all that.
Yeah. No. I remember the Saga edition rules, and I had fun with them when I played it, but it was very much about placement.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a board game, basically.
Yeah.
A narrative board game.
In many ways, yeah, definitely. It's how a lot of our games went with it anyway. But I think that is very interesting that you went on a completely different timeline for Star Wars, and I'm wondering if that's... I feel like if I were ever to run Star Wars is like one of my favorite things, just sort of outside of gaming typically. But I've never run a Star Wars game. I've played in them, but I feel like if I was ever to try to run a Star Wars game, I'd have to do something kind of like what you did with that, to try to so that basically to pull the core of the plot of that universe in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that was a similar experience for you, or did you have other ideas in mind when you did that?
Yeah, no, the whole point of the darker timeline was because I didn't want the focus to be on the Skywalkers and on everything that they did during the Age of Rebellion. I wanted things to be not necessarily darker, though. The inspiration I got for this timeline was the tone of the movie Rogue One, where the rebellion is this desperate organization trying everything they can to put an end to the Empire, and that's where I was going with my campaign. That said, I knew that if I left Leia, I left Luke in there, things would invariably return to the state that it is in the movies.
Yeah.
And if you look at just like Star Wars Rebels or any of the other not marketing things, but any of the like newer franchises, let's say from Star Wars, they all come back down to the fact that whatever they do, nothing's going to be as important as Luke destroying the Death Star.
Well, yeah, totally.
And I wanted my players to be the ones to destroy the Death Star.
Very cool. Very cool. I mean, that's absolutely with you on that. I kind of have the same feelings about. This is one of the reasons also why I've never really dived too much into the Lord of the Rings RPGs that have come out, the various ones. Same problem, it's who's going to throw the ring in the volcano.
Yeah, that's it. It's you're going to play someone who out of game is going to be inconsequential.
Yeah.
Unless you alter the events, such as I had an idea for a campaign, a Lord of the Ring campaign that never started, never took off more than session 0, but where Bilbo actually never found the ring. And so things in the Hobbit story happen more or less the same way. Bilbo got through because of skill more than the magic of the ring, but because the ring was lost both by Gollum and by Bilbo and not found, Sauron had to muster an even bigger army to try to do what he did in the events of Lord of the Rings. And that would have been interesting because I wanted to turn the campaign on about a race against the clock.
Yeah.
Who gets the ring first?
Awesome. Yeah, that too sounds awesome. Yeah, so I hope one day perhaps something like that sees the light of day. And I do want to just specify, I'm not taking anything away from folks who do run campaigns within the continuity. I think that's I bless them for doing it. Mm-hmm. It's just something that I would have trouble getting my head around, and I think it is a task. It is a task. Yeah. But for the time being, then. Where can folks find you if they want to find you online?
You can find me over on Twitter at wandering_DM or on Twitch at twitch.tv/wanderingdm. We stream practically every day of the week except on Sundays.
Awesome. Well, folks, go and check that out. And in the meantime, I'm going to throw things back to either myself or to some graphic or other that I have running while we're all still panicking in the background. I will see you folks later. Take care. Greetings, folks. We have returned, and we're going to find out what is coming next.
So, the council has agreed to redirect a Alexei Akuma light cruiser to assist your cause. And there is a rush order for resources. Now, I can tell you about this ship. It can have a crew of a captain, a pilot, up to seven gunners, up to 6 battle frame dog fighters, an engineer, and it can hold over 2,000 passengers.
That sounds like a plan.
So we have a pilot. We have Lee and several of her battle frame pilot friends. We have an engineer. So
And certainly Fritz can act as an engineer as needed. But Fritz has also probably been in charge of the acquisition and storage of all of the parts that might be needed for getting another ship off the ground if needed.
Yes. Yeah, your ship doesn't currently, the Agama doesn't currently need an engineer, although you will be on board, and also Epsilon will be accompanying you, so we've got that covered.
Yes, awesome.
Are we taking Space Ghost?
Are you taking the Space Ghost, or do you need a separate crew?
I think Space Ghost should operate separately, and I would be happy to be on the Space Ghost with Epsilon being on the primary other ship, and the two of us being in communication.
Right. Then the Agama will continue to have its own crew, and you can continue to crew the Space Ghost. So
I actually did have a couple of questions.
Yes.
Just about. This is again just about temporal stuff, I guess.
I may have a couple of answers.
Oh, okay, that's good. That will be very helpful. What do we do with the Sawigan prisoner after that whole meeting takes place?
What did you do with him?
Because at this point it's like they were a prisoner of the lizard folk. The lizard folk let us take him. So there's now a jurisdiction question, but I mean it's one that I don't think we're going to necessarily wait around to figure out. But I guess there's like
might I suggest that the lizard folk? I was going to say, might I suggest that the lizard folk go with the other ship and the prisoner come with us?
Oh wait, aren't the lizard folk settling down here?
Right, like I don't know that the lizard folk need to come at all. Like,
there you go. I like that idea.
Yeah, I think the prisoner should come with us because he needs to be there to help us convince them to come as well.
Right, right.
I think that's a good idea. How do the lizard folk feel about that plan?
The Queen would like to at least send a couple of representatives, a couple of her fighters, especially if there are going to be 2 ships to crew and there is going to potentially be some battle. And she would like representation to be present.
Okay.
But it's up to you whether or not you are willing to accept.
With the tension between them, I think the lizard folk we need just as many as can fit on Space Ghost and no more, because they don't need to be on the main ship. That's going to carry back the people they were fighting with.
Agreed.
If like the Sawagam will just kill them, and we'll be like, well, sorry. There's your 20 lizard people.
Yeah. Are the lizard folk okay with releasing Mako into our custody? All right, that'll work then.
Because his main infraction was just sort of intruding on their land, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want the lizard folk astrogator to come with you?
Or just traveling to the Maw, right? We don't really need a navigator.
We're doing 2 Maws and then the jump to Chiron, which is fairly close. Wouldn't it be a bad idea to have a backup astrogator just in case? Because between Lasnus and myself, we don't really, we have some astrogation, but we don't have full-on navigation in case anything really goes off the rails.
Yeah.
But we have the navigation map to the Chiron, though.
True.
But maps,
now that you have been there,
get wacky. Yeah, they can, but
you have the coordinates now.
Yeah, I always like redundant systems, but I'm also okay to be outvoted if necessary.
I was going to suggest those same 3 lizard guys that went with you before would be the ones to stay on, at least until all of this is done. The queen doesn't need to go in person, and most of the rest of the people are civilians, so.
I feel like because we were asked, we should take them, yes.
And then you do notice that there are some representatives from the merfolk and the Lokatha, but they're more in discussions with the planetary council as to what is going to happen with them in the future, and what their accommodations are going to be, so they don't necessarily need to come along.
Yeah, no, actually, if you can't hold a wrench, you're not going to be on board the Space Coast.
Yeah,
sorry.
No.
They got hands.
Well, no, it's like you can't use a wrench. You can hold one and not know which end is up. So.
Can they dodge it?
If they can dodge it, they need to be on the other side of the Space Coast. They don't need to be on the Space Coast.
But they are available if you want to get any further information from them before you leave.
Granted.
No, would it be worth going up to them and clicking their dialogue boxes just to see what they say?
Sure.
We had 5 Lakatha and 4 merfolk and 4
something like that. See which ones have little glowies over their heads to click. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There is one merfolk representative, and she seems to be rather on pins and needles walking around the station. But she's a salvager, so she says she and her people are can be put to work on board the station. And let me see what other information there is. I'm having trouble finding it. So let's just keep going. So are we ready to head back to Chiron? Is there anything else you want to accomplish here on the station?
Not from Fritz. I mean, Epsilon's along for the ride, so we're good to go.
Yeah.
What about our furry friends that we met on Chiron? We're surely not going to take them back. Or Thwirl?
Oh no, the Thwirl and the Roach are in Rekmara's room on the Space Ghost.
Okay, good.
So do you want to just, how do you want to approach the Sahuagin fortress? Do you want to try to sneak in? Do you want to march up to the front door?
Ooh, that!
I'd actually ask Cole. I mean, we're coming in with a pretty strong contingent of, evacuation or repair. And I think that coming in strong and showing, hey, we've got these two options that we're prepared to offer to you might be the way to go.
Can we actually, before we dive down there, get like a visual of where the can we find the crash site and see if we can get a visual on that ship so we can find out if repair is in fact viable or not?
Should we like take the Space Ghost in first and leave the other ship, the larger ship, somewhere else, but have the Sahuagin on the Space Ghost so we can like scout, go in, like meet with their people, show them we have a prisoner, but we didn't mean no harm? I don't know how that's gonna go.
Mako suggests that you might be better received if you go in with a full show of strength, because there are only two kinds of people in this world.
Okay,
hunters and food.
So full mech up for those folks who have mech suits, right?
Yes.
And then we like pull back the Sahuagin's arms real tight and like, look what we got.
Yeah, no, like blaster up in the whole 9 yards.
Look what we got.
Yeah. Sparky's out, just like running around as a little mech whatnot, so.
Ted's tying shoelaces left and right.
Having seen Mako's interactions with Cole after having the plasma gun shoved into his face, he actually kind of respects Cole a little bit because of that.
Oh, good. Yes, give Cole even more reasons to hate himself. That's great.
Are we walking yet? Towards the front? Because if we are, Lastness is...
Sounds like...
I mean, we gotta... Do they have a mean... Well, first off, did we get a visual on the ship to find out if that's an option or not?
I can give you a description of what you're going to be walking into.
Please.
We land right on top of the fortress. Yeah.
That is a possibility.
That would be us, yeah.
That is a possibility. The Sahuagin have taken over a rocky island at the mouth of the Javon River. It used to be the lizard folk lair. It's not a typical Sahuagin lair, but they you can kind of, as you do a flyby, you can kind of see where the crash site was, and like with your scan, get a kind of reading that when the ship crashed, it made a big crater in the ocean floor. They did a splashdown, and it made a big crater and lowered the seafloor and or raised the sea level and flooded the bottom 2 layers, or at least now the bottom 2 levels of the island stronghold are flooded. Some of it may have been done purposefully after they took over, but the crash started the job for them. And but the top level is still dry, so you could go in and land there. You could approach by sea, or you could land on the mainland and then approach from there.
Fritz aims or votes for landing right on top of them on a landing site that would let us walk right
in. I think if they would appreciate a show of force, it might be good for us to have. I assume they don't have communications available first. Let me ask that.
Not long range, no.
Okay. Might be good for, and you'll have to forgive me, I'm not sure. My brain is not currently up on the space physics. Is it possible to have the big ship visible in the sky as we go in, just so that
yes.
they know that we're not messing around with them?
With all 7 guns trained on the fortress?
Yes, yes,
sure.
I think that will be helpful. if it's that kind of society.
Peace.
I would say, would it be useful to have their internal comms frequencies available to us? I can do that.
Right.
I dial that up.
Couldn't hurt.
Done.
So we're kind of doing a show of strength / also walking up to the front gate.
Basically, yeah.
Guns blazing.
With 13 of us.
Okay.
Well, 13 in a big damn ship and a few people on our shoulders, so yeah.
A big honking space gun.
And another big honking space gun coming in behind us, so.
So, yeah, definitely. This is going to suit up, and I want you all to imagine it in the most extreme anime way possible, with the whole hand movement into
the glowing and the, yeah.
Yep. She swings the huge rocket hammer that she summons around, strikes a pose. It's completely an Escher girl pose. And she's like, we're here to negotiate.
Like, so the whole team, like, vogues, right? I'm not seeing laughter from the Rekmara here.
Rekmara is the strongest of all of us.
He's the eye roller in the group. Obviously, physically, like Fritz is like totally in the background, like hiding behind all the people who are actually flashy. So yeah. Totally got that.
Okay.
Are we going to try to talk to them before we land, go in? Or are we just going to go in?
I think we can broadcast on all channels. We are here to remove you from the planet for your own safety and see how they respond to that.
Okay.
Evacuate sounds nicer than remove.
We're here to evacuate you for your own safety, you knockoff Nautilus.
Well, yeah, maybe part of that message.
You and what army knockoffs a wagon?
all of the guns on the various ships starts arming and like
Here,
filing
look
in.
up there.
There. Okay.
Yeah, you want force? We gotta show a force. We can do this. So.
Mhm.
An out of character question: are we really gonna force them off this planet? Can we just be like, all right, cool, and just leave?
No, I think we are totally like, no, dude, get on this ship
Well,
right now. Under
yeah,
gunfire, you're under.
The,
Yeah,
the brainworms are going to get them even if they stop what they're doing. So that's
right.
kind of what we're trying to save them from that.
I mean, but if they don't want to be saved, how much force should we kill them to prevent them from being killed later?
Short answer, yes.
Okay.
Wait,
I
so
wanna be
we
sure. I just wanna be sure.
we start
Short
this evening?
answer is like we're gonna kill them to keep them from blowing up all of this quadrant. So
We seriously started this game with a Theseus ship question tonight, and we're continuing it with this existential moral question.
Like, should we
What
kill
did I
them
sign
to
up for?
prevent them from being killed later? Like, do we do that?
there is nothing existential or moral about this whole thing. It's
I
all
forget
about
about
like,
the whole like tearing the
dude.
maw, tearing the.
We are totally colonial here. It's like follow us or die, basically. So it's okay. We got it.
We're basically, the main thing is to keep them from doing that thing. So if, my thought is that if we, worst case scenario, if they refuse, then we take out their priestesses, and then if they still refuse, then I just leave them because that's.
Can we take out the Nautilus ship without causing
We
the risk
kidnap
ourselves?
So totally, we kidnap anybody we can. We fix the Nautilus ship if at all possible, remove it from the planet, and then blow everything else the heck up.
I don't know that like versus plan.
I'm all about the ship.
But
I'm
you
all
wanna-
about like fixing the thing. So you guys can figure out the people all you want to.
I feel like salvaging the Nautilus ship is probably a secondary thing, kind of at best. Like an if we have time and feel
Secondary
like
for you, yeah.
going and fighting more brainworms situation.
Secondary for everyone but for Fritz.
Fritz, yeah.
Fritz is gonna have to take the back seat on this one.
Fritz is like all about getting that ship fixed. So like forget everything else.
It's like Narita has her own reasons for wanting that ship to get fixed, but at the same time, not with brainworms. So
you're a little more sane about the whole situation. So I totally understand out of character.
Ladies, you can both go back to the ship once we turn this planet into a barren desert wasteland.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I just was confused about what's happening.
Did we figure?
So it's easy. Like Mem's got it. People, like Nautilus, like Aquans first, ship second. Fritz is all about ship first. Whatever happens, happens. And Lasnus is like just get people off of this planet, and then we'll blow everything up later. Whatever everything is, we'll figure it out. So.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But just from that look, I know that there's not very much poking up out of the water, so I'm kind of figuring it's lost. But did we figure out from what we're able to see of the ship from the outside that if there's enough of it that it would be reparable in some fashion? Hypothetically, I know we'd have to go inside to look to be sure, but
hypothetically, it seems like most of it is structurally intact. There may have been something off with their navigation systems or something. It's hard to say. It is underwater, but if you could get it to fly again, it might be possible, but then it's again hard to see. There's probably some structural damage from the impact as well. So
also we don't know how much of it they stripped out.
Yeah, this is true.
You do know that Fritz's specialization is in propulsion systems, right?
Yeah.
I can get pretty much a rock to fly off of this planet.
Okay.
I can make this work. And Fritz is going to invoke that
there
sort of
is
like
it looks
self-destructive
like-
component of like I have to fix this
Yeah.
thing.
It looks
to
like there's
I have
most
to
of a
fix this
ship
thing.
anyway.
Yeah, no,
Who
Who
Fritz
knows
is
what
gonna
else
go.
left inside?
Right. Well,
Fritz is tunnel vision now about getting this ship off the planet.
Okay. Well,
And Fritz honestly doesn't care if anybody is on the fucking ship at this point. Fritz is going to get the ship off the planet. So
you will be working underwater. But you've got
I have
your
a life suit. I have a life suit. I'm good.
It's not an issue.
Everyone's like, Narita's starting to look at Fritz.
Everybody else can work on getting like all of the other life forms onto other ships and whatnot, and Fritz is going to be single-mindedly focused on getting the ship off the planet. It doesn't matter if the ship is the least important thing in this entire mission. Fritz is going to be focused on the ship. So
we talked
And
about the ship
Fritz-
too much. Oh God.
Thank
Yep,
Fritz Maw,
exactly.
she
It's
is
like-
Plan
tiny.
from the Space Ghost because we need someone to stay in the Space Ghost and keep it safe.
That's not Fritz.
Fritz is getting ready to take a swan dive.
And
Fritz is
Fritzy-
kind of like Fritz is gone like La La Land here.
Fritz is very
off.
small. Can Fritz be restrained? I'm sorry, Fritz.
Fritz has crazy gloves now and will shock the living shit out of you if you try. So
Shock you back, got the same gloves.
Can certainly
A lot
try.
yeah,
I will not violently restrain Fritz. I don't want to
Fritz is like, try me, dude.
And Rita's like,
Not
I got the
happening.
same thing. Calm down.
It's like, yeah, water is conductive. Zap.
Oh my God.
Not happening.
Well,
And Jim is out of character. Jim is dying in the corner.
just like, no, we should
What
have never
is
talked about
happening?
this damn ship. This damn ship. Should just left
Like-
it alone.
Fritz has gotten way too tunnel visioned about fixing this ship now, and like it totally happens as a part of the
So,
character thing. So
Is the
Fritz.
mutilated person with us?
She's on, or they are on the Yakima, I believe.
Yeah, I'm
but in contact.
I'm not willing to risk them to help Fritz be crazy, so never mind.
In all of our prep, Lasness kept stressing the importance of making sure that we keep them from summoning what they want to summon to try to get this maw to open for them. She keeps talking about how it's completely against the order of things.
good point.
So, while Fritz is annoying everybody with that, Lasness is annoying everyone with her little mantra. So it's been quite the ride.
So everyone's got their thing that they're tunnel visioned in. Rek Miraz just chilling.
Rick Mirage just like, what the hell had just happened?
Like, I left where I came from
Actually-
because of this.
Actually, Cole is also like, what the hell happened? And Lee is like, what the hell happened? And like, you know, Fritz and Lasness are like off running around like weirdness here. So
Doritos is very confused by it all and just doesn't want to deal with it, but well.
If it's if it matters to you, Fritz, in your scan of,
And it may?
of the ship, it may. It seems that the void crystal and the dark matter engine has been removed.
oh crap. Okay, so Fritz is totally going to like refocus on figuring out where the hell the void crystal and engine have, you know, been relocated to. Specifically, like where is that void crystal? Because I know that can cause all the chaos, and that is going to cause all the problems. So
You can get a ping
If-
on that void
Yeah.
crystal.
yep.
It pings from the bottom of this sunken fortress.
And Fritz, totally without thinking, goes straight that direction and doesn't even think about calling in comrades or teammates or anything like that. It's just like,
Okay.
I've got to get there. That is me going there, and that is totally irrational.
All right.
Where are we physically when this takes place?
You have put down on the top on this island on a little strip of beach at that leads up to the top level of the fortress that is still above water.
Okay, so we're going the same direction now, basically.
Yes.
So that's
yes.
something anyway.
Fritz was looking like they were about to march out into the sea and has just turned around and marched toward the front door. Lasness, I think that's your cue.
Oh, that'll work.
And that's when Lasness walks out. She puts one hand out like this, pulls it down, and then the rocket hammer's there, which she steps onto to give herself an extra blast off, so she can land in a 3-point action hero pose, all completely in armor. And she stands up again and says, "We are here to negotiate. We are here to help."
And I think that's where we're going to call the episode.
Lots going on here.
Oh my god. So many things.
So, we have a direction for next time.
I think we do. That sounds very much like we have a direction for next time. Okay, very cool, very cool. That was great. So much cat herding, so much. Oh. Both literal and figurative. All right, folks. Well, we're going to go ahead then and go around and once again address any. We can talk about favorite moments if we want, or just any thoughts we had about this episode, and then also anywhere. Tell folks anywhere they can find you. I think. I have a lot of things that I liked about what happened, but I liked the putting together of the presentation. That was awesome. I think Fritz was just a delight this episode. That was my favorite thing this episode, just overall. We're gonna go ahead and go around and do our outros, starting with Alyssa.
Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in, and thank you everyone for playing. My name is Alyssa. You can find me at Origami Shuriken on Twitch and Twitter. This is currently the only thing I have going right now, but we'll see. I have some thoughts, and we'll see. Stay tuned to my social media, and we'll see if I do anything on my own channel over the next few weeks. Since I will be out of work until the 1st of May, so I might do some fun things. I really enjoyed the dramatic tension of putting that presentation together and confronting the council, and that was nice. We've had a lot of fun moments, like with Cole and Lee, and yeah, I am happy to have discovered the direction for next episode, because I had several contingencies laid out since I took us off the rails, and now it's kind of a little bit improv, which is really fun and great practice. And now I can plan ahead a little bit for next week, so I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Yay. Very cool, very cool. And now over to Mem.
Hey everyone, I'm Mem. You can find me at Uncertain Memory on Twitch and Uncertain Mem on Twitter. I have to remember which one's which. My favorite moments tonight were probably Fritz's lathered fervor to repair stuff. Gotta get this fixed. Doesn't matter what it takes. Gotta fix this right now. And also, here's a PowerPoint. I like that the most. But having a good time as always. liking watching some people's characters really develop, really build. It's been a lot of fun trying to figure out who is Narita, what is she doing exactly, and watching everybody else kind of sprinkling some things that kind of build into her too. So it's been a good time. I really appreciate all of you. So thank you all.
Awesome. And May.
Hi everybody, I'm May. You can find me on Twitter, but I don't do too much there, but yeah, there's a Twitter. I had a lot of fun tonight. My favorite part was watching a group project work where everyone who said they were going to work in the group actually worked. That was the biggest moment of fantasy I've ever seen, and I loved it. I can't wait till next week.
So good. All right, and up to Cazimi.
Helps if I'm off mute. Yeah, no, I had a blast tonight. Obviously, Fritz got to stretch their muscles and see what they're all about, including PowerPoints, among other things, and fixing things. And I'm really curious to see what the heck Fritz gets into in terms of the next episode. I really appreciated being able to bounce off of everybody else in this particular episode. And I'm super stoked to see what actually happens. What do we actually end up doing the next episode? This is really fun. So thank you, everybody.
Yay. Very cool. Very cool. You killed it tonight. You really did. And over to Anino.
How's it going, everyone? My name's Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. Yeah, no, it was just great to sort of sit back and watch everyone get time to develop their characters more and showcase what they do. Kind of funny because Fritz's group project reminds me of pretty much every group project that Marcy complains about to me during the work week. So I'm like, oh, all right. Very inspired. But let's see. Tomorrow you can find me on the Wandering DM channel with our first episode of a short campaign of Legacy, in which I will be playing a mech gorilla. Stay tuned for that.
Ooh. This is interesting. Very cool. All right. Well, as for me, once again, I do want to thank Jade Nebula for the art that we have here. We lost someone. Oh no. We lost Cazimi for a moment. But I'll go ahead and read us off here. Once again, thanks to Jade Nebula for the art, as always, our character art. Once again, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and some fiction and games I've been working on, along with links to game signups and applications to join our Discord. This week on the channel, this Tuesday, we have Las Vegas. And let me let you see people's faces. They'll be in the wrong windows, but we'll go ahead and do this for right now. Hi. So this Tuesday we have a Las Vegas continuing. That is our sort of round robin mini campaign using the fugue system that takes place in a strange, nightmarish Vegas-like landscape. We have that evening, Tuesday evening, the premiere of our Monster of the Week mini campaign. That's our mini campaign for April. We have on Wednesday nights our regular masks campaign. We have on let me actually bring it up in front of me. That's why I have the script. There it is. On Friday, we are actually going to continue the session of Hidden Qualities that we started today. We decided we were going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to do that Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to finish off that session of the GM-less game that I wrote. Then on Saturday, we have our Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox. And on Sundays, we do one-shots before we do Dark Matter. The one-shot on this coming Sunday is going to be Futurity, which is a game by Summer from Off the Table, where everyone is playing oracles that basically will do various things to predict our own futures and everyone else's. And then, of course, Sunday night, we will have more of this. And we will see what happens and how the Sahuagin react to our presence. And hopefully everything will be all right. In the meantime, sign-ups are open right now still for that game of Futurity that I mentioned. Probably for the next day or two they'll be open before I cast it. Sign-ups are coming soon for a one-shot of Weird Wars. That's a Savage Worlds game. I'm probably going to do Weird War 2, I'm guessing. That seems most likely. I may shift on it, but we're going to do one of the Weird Wars settings. There are several that we're going to try out. It's basically strangeness of the supernatural horror during these various wars that go on. So for folks who want to sign up for anything, you can go down below and click on RPG sign up, or go to jimyesthatjim.com and click on Game sign up. As always, beginners are more than welcome. So when we hit the end card, I'm going to send a raid over to Welcome Party RPG. They are doing a discussion right now of safety tools in RPGs. So their community conversation, it looks like. So I think that's definitely worth checking out. So we're going to go over there and say hi to them. Feel free to hang on if you are so inclined and say hi to them with us. That, again, will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very